Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Dwivedi, and in this segment we are going to discuss about objective questions from daily current affairs to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Consider the following statements. Buddha had two kinds of disciples, monks, bhikshus, and lay worshippers known as upasikas. Heenan believes in the heavenliness of Buddha and idol worship of Buddha, and bodhisattvas embodying Buddha nature. Theravada Buddhism developed in Sri Lanka and subsequently spread to the rest of the Southeast Asia. We have to select the correct statement. The first statement is correct, that Buddha had two kinds of disciples, bhikshus and upasikas. But second is incorrect because it is not the Heenan that believes in the heavenliness of Buddha, but the Mahayana, the greater wheel. So, second is incorrect and first is correct. Also, the third is correct because Theravada Buddhism did develop in Sri Lanka. Okay, so the correct answer should be 1 and 3, that is option C. Recently, the Ministry of Tourism announced that it is going to organize a conference on Buddhist circuits to promote the potential of Buddhist tourism. And Mahayana believes in the heavenliness of Buddha and idol worship of Buddha, and bodhisattvas embodying Buddha nature. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements. The Industrial Park Rating System was launched by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. IPRS 2.0 report is released by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. 25 states of India have participated in the IPRS 2.0 report. So we have to select the correct statement. The third statement is definitely not correct because not 25 states but all of Indian states have participated in IPRS. The first statement is correct. The Indian or industrial, not Indian, industrial parking rating system, it was launched by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Here it could be any other ministry as well, such as MSMEs. But remember, it is Ministry of Commerce and Industries. And this report is released by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. So the first and the second are correct. The third is incorrect. The correct answer should be 1 and 2, that is option B. 41 industrial parks have been assessed as leaders in the Industrial Park Ratings System Report 2.0 released recently by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. The Industrial Park Rating System was launched by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Moving on. Mihidana, recently seen in the news, refers to which of the following? Migratory species of bird, new tiger reserve in Chhattisgarh, indigenous fruit from Kerala, geographical identification or GI tagged sweet dish. The correct answer to this question is option D. Let's move on to the explanation. In an effort to produce and promote indigenous and geographical indication tagged products, first consignment of GI tagged sweet dish Mihidana, sourced from Bardhaman, West Bengal, has been exported to the Kingdom of Bahrain. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements. The third edition of the State of Education report has been released by Niti Aayog. It focused on the theme of teachers, teaching and teachers' education, underscores that the work of teaching is complex. The report was titled, No Teachers, No Class. So we have to select the correct statement. The third statement is correct, that the report's title was No Teachers, No Class. But this report is not published by the Niti Aayog. It is published by UNESCO. Okay, so the first statement becomes incorrect. Second is correct. Third is correct. The correct answer to this question is option C. Recently, UNESCO launched its 2021 State of Education report for India. It focused on the theme of teachers, teaching and teacher education, underscores that the work of teaching is complex. The report was titled, No Teachers, No Class. Consider the following statements regarding citizenship in India. The ways of acquiring citizenship are prescribed in Article 6 of the Indian Constitution. The citizenship of any Indian can be renounced by the government if he or she has been living outside India for 7 years continuously. We have to select the correct statement. The first statement is incorrect because Article 6 deals with the citizenship, giving citizenship to those who are coming to India from Pakistan. Okay, so the first statement is incorrect, but the second is correct. The correct answer should be 2 only, that is option B. Recently, the Ministry of Home Affairs has simplified the process for Indians who want to renounce their citizenship. Article 6 of the Indian Constitution provides the rights of citizenship of certain persons who have migrated to India from Pakistan. The Government of India may terminate the citizenship of an Indian citizen if the citizen has been living outside India for 7 years continuously. Moving on, consider the following statements. The Aadhaar-enabled payment system allows online interoperable financial transactions at point of sale. AEPS is developed by the NPCI, that is National Payment Corporation of India. We have to select the correct statement. Both these statements are correct. The correct answer is option C. A series of recent scams have exposed the vulnerabilities of the Aadhaar-enabled payment systems. Aadhaar-enabled payment system is a bank-led model which allows online interoperable financial transactions at point of sale through the business correspondent, bank mitra of any bank using the Aadhaar authentication. It was taken up by the National Payments Corporation of India, which was a joint initiative of RBI and Indian Banks Association. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to the Central Asian Flyway. The Central Asian Flyway covers a large continental area of Eurasia between the Arctic and Indian Ocean and the associated island chains. Geographically, the Flyway region covers 90 countries of North, Central and South Asian Trans-Caucasus. So we have to select the correct statement. Yes, the Central Asian Flyway covers a large continental area of Eurasia between the Arctic and Indian Ocean. This is correct. And also the associated island chains. Any question could be asked that all these regions are included, but it might be there that the mention of island chains is not there. So you have to be very careful with the keywords. Okay, first is correct, second is not correct, because this flyway covers region that have 30 countries and not 90 countries. Keep in mind the numbers as well. The first is correct, second incorrect. The correct answer is option A, that is 1 only. The 2-day online meeting of range countries began with a resolve to strengthen the conservation actions for migratory birds and their habitats in the Central Asian Flyway, which covers a large continental area of Eurasia between the Arctic and Indian Ocean and associated island chains. The flyway comprises several important migration routes of water birds, most of which extend from the northernmost breeding grounds in the Russian Federation, that is Siberia, to the southernmost non-breeding, or they are also known as wintering grounds, in West and South Asia, the Maldives and British Indian Ocean Territory. The birds on their annual migration cross the borders of several countries. Geographically, the flyway region covers 30 countries of North, Central and South Asian Trans-Caucasus. Let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements with respect to the National Monetisation Pipeline. It aims to unlock value in greenfield projects by engaging the private sector, transferring to them revenue rights and not the ownership in the projects. The National Monetisation Pipeline will run co-terminus with the rupees 100 lakh crore National Infrastructure Pipeline announced in December 2019. So we have to select the correct statement. The first statement is outright incorrect because I hope you know why. Because there is mention of brownfield and not greenfield projects. Brownfield are those projects where it could be purchased, the project could be purchased and building up on that existing project is there. Greenfield projects are those projects which are started from the scratch, zero, brand new. Okay, so this is correct. Also, some things to keep in mind over here is transferring to them the revenue rights. Revenue rights are transferred, but ownership rights are not transferred. This could also be a distorted statement that could be asked in prelims. Only revenue but not the ownership. Keep in mind. And second is correct. It will run co-terminus with the 100 lakh crore national infrastructure pipeline announced in December 2019. So only the second is correct. The correct answer is option B. A joint platform of trade unions is scheduled to hold protests on Thursday against the National Monetization Pipeline, a scheme introduced by the central government to raise as much as $81 billion by leasing out state-owned infrastructure assets over the next 4 years. National Monetization Pipeline aims to unlock value in brownfield projects by engaging the private sector, transferring to them revenue rights and not ownership in the projects, and using the funds generated for infrastructure creation across the country. The NMP has been announced to provide a clear framework for monetization and give potential investors a ready list of assets to generate investment interest. It will run co-terminus with the rupees 100 lakh crore National Infrastructure Pipeline announced in December 2019. Let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements with respect to the PM CARES Fund. The fund is created to deal with only health emergency or distress situations like posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Contribution to PM CARES Fund does not qualify as CSR expenditure. We have to select the incorrect statement. This is a very confusing question because many of you might think that PM CARES was created at the time of pandemic. It can only take care or have donations, accept donations and contribute towards such situations like health emergency. But no, any other emergency apart from the health emergencies such as disasters, many other disasters, this fund will also take care of that. So the first statement becomes incorrect because there is the mention of the word only health emergency, no. Okay, and the contributions to the PM CARES Fund does qualify for being registered or documented under CSR expenditure. Okay, so both are incorrect. The correct answer is option C. Prime Minister has dedicated 35 pressure swing absorption oxygen plants established under PM CARES across 35 states and union territories in an event held at AIIMS Rishikesh today. The government has set up the PM CARES Fund to deal with any kind of emergency or distress situation like posed by COVID-19 pandemic. The fund is a public charitable trust with the Prime Minister as its chairman. Prime Minister as its chairman. Remember, other members include Defense Minister, Home Minister and Finance Minister. Important. Defense Minister, Home Minister and Finance Minister. And there could also be a distorted statement like the Finance Minister is the chairman, but no, the Prime Minister is. Okay? So, this becomes clear. Contribution to PM CARES Fund qualifies as CSR expenditure. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to the world's first WHO-approved anti-malarial vaccine. The vaccine acts against Plasmodium falciparum. It is also known as RTS,S/AS01 malaria or mosquirix. We have to select the correct statement. Both are correct. The correct answer is option C. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus endorsed the RTS,S/AS01 or 01 malaria or mosquirix, a vaccine developed by British drug maker GlaxoSmithKline. The vaccine acts against Plasmodium falciparum, one of the 5 parasite species and the most deadly. The symptoms of malaria are fever, headaches and muscle pain, then cycles of chills, fevers and sweating. Mudra Toolbox, recently seen in the news, is an initiative of which of the following organization or ministry? Khadi and Village Industry Commission, Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise, Indian Council of Medical Research, NABARD. By the word Mudra, so many of you might have thought that it relates to Mudra loans and it can come under KVIC or MSME, but no. This toolbox comes under, it has been launched by ICMR, right? So keep this in mind. Mudra Toolbox relates to ICMR. The correct answer is option C. Indian Council of Medical Research has released the Multilingual Dementia Research and Assessment Toolbox in 5 Indian languages: Hindi, Bengali, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam. The toolbox includes various cognitive tests to access different domains of cognition such as attention and executive function, memory, language and visuospatial functions. Do you see one thing? English is not there. Keep this in mind as well. Let's move forward and talk about our practice question for the next segment. With reference to the Vedic governance, consider the following statements. Vidhata was an assembly meant for debating military matters during Vedic period. Both women and men took part in Vidhata assembly. We have to select the correct statement. So I hope you'll be answering it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.